Hello, heck. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to my Sunday news roundup. I can speak, coughing, and I can't speak. What's going on? Anyway, welcome to the show. Got a few news stories, not 1,000,001 this week to look at. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, and share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube. Fingers crossed. I set it up to the wrong blooming date yesterday, didn't I? So, but I sorted it out. We're live on Rumble. Let me check. Check. Yes, we're live on Rumble. And fingers crossed, we're live on Twitch this time. Yes, we are. Right. I buggered up my last live stream, didn't I? And it didn't work on Twitch for some reason. Don't know why. Right. What else? Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And I will add on the YouTube one, I'll add what they call them, timestamps on each story, on each article, so you can skip about. If you want to do it that way, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Not Twitter, X, whatever. Links in the description, as are links to my 2 books. Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff. My nose is tickling, gonna have an argument. And Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats in North Yorkshire and all that stuff. I have. I've no big cat story this week, but yes, I have. Got a Nessie story and a big cat story. Ooh. What else? Oh, I've also got a Patreon page, so I'll put my banner up. Shout out to my single Patreon, Archbishop Frey. But I keep adding stuff. Usually lists. I had lists, and they stay up on Patreon. Well, they stay up on Patreon forever, but they stay, behind the paywall for a couple of weeks. Then they go public, and then I usually upload them to YouTube. But I've some stuff that's exclusive to Patreon, like in Magical Monochrome, where I watch a film. We watch a film with me commenting on it. Usually, it's a film I've never seen before, a 1950s B movie. They've all been so far. But anyway, so there's that. If you want to check that out, as I said, there's some stuff that you have to join for, and some stuff that is public. So there we go. I've pressed the button. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Oh dear. Right. So off we go. Right. So let's start with the first news story. I'll make myself titty tiny. If I can sort this out. If I can remember what to do. Right. Bring the microphone a bit closer. Right. I've got to go full screen. No idea what I'm doing this week. Right. Or any week for that matter. Right. First story from Bounding into Comics, so it could get spicy. Marvel reshuffles entire Disney Plus TV schedule, whatever. Ironheart, Daredevil, Born Again, and Wonder Man, which I've never heard of, placed on indefinite hiatus. Agatha renamed for a 3rd time. Right, for the umpteenth time, Marvel's flailing desperation to right their eponymous cinematic universe's sinking ship, as well as the ongoing WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, have led the studio to once again reshuffle their entire slate of Disney Plus productions. This scheduling shake-up, I'll say that 3 times quickly, was first confirmed on September 1st, courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter. Per the outlet's sources, Marvel reportedly undertook this shuffle as part of an effort to make each title an event for fans and audiences, which itself was born out of the studio's recent realization that spreading out its content is a more prudent strategy. As such, Marvel's 2023 TV schedule currently looks vastly different from the over-bloated roadmap unveiled by studio head Kevin Feige, or Feige, whatever, at San Diego Comic-Con 2022, where once 2023 was set to see them release a total of 7 Disney Plus projects. Secret Invasion, What If Season 2, Loki Season 2, Echo, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and X-Men 97. Let me have a drink here. The studio will instead end the year having released a drastically reduced slate. Ooh, where are we going? Where are we going? Give up. As previously confirmed, following the recent Secret Invasion, Marvel will air the second season of Loki, which is currently on track to premiere on October 6th. God knows why. Season 1 was bloody awful, wasn't it? From there, the studio will close out 2023 with the second season of What If. I didn't even watch all of the first season. I didn't like it. Which months, which, I suppose, which, comma, months after being taken off of Marvel's official release schedule, comma, has now been given an official debut date of Christmas Day. Originally, Loki was set to be followed roughly 2 months later by the premiere of Echo, a Hawkeye spin-off focused on Alaqua Cox's titular deaf and disabled heroine. However, the series, which will be the first MCU TV series to have all of its episodes dumped onto Disney Plus at the same time, rather than released on the weekly schedule, has now been pushed back from November 29th to an undetermined date in January 2024. There she is. Though not an MCU entry, the animated X-Men 97 has likewise been pushed from its original date. Once aiming for a fall 2023 premiere, the return of the fan favourite mutant team will now take place on an unspecified date in early 2024. And still, since I saw that meme, all I can see is two Batmans kissing when you see Wolverine. Anyway, whatever. Then there's the series formerly known as Agatha Coven of Chaos, now bearing the new name of Agatha Darkhold Diaries. The Catherine Hahn-led WandaVision spin-off has been bumped from its hopeful winter 2023 release date to the Halloween season of fall 2024. Remember this series that just began because people kind of liked it when they did It Was Agatha all along part of WandaVision. And that was like a meme for about 5 minutes, and then Marvel decided, cool, that's going to be a new series. Not that we didn't want one. It was a meme. Anyway, the last of the studio's originally planned 2023 releases, despite having already been pushed back into next year, Ironheart has also been hit with yet another delay. After having previously been put on indefinite hiatus before being given a rough 2024 release window, the series no one wants, much like Agatha, or any of them for that matter, has now been put back in limbo due to the aforementioned Hollywood strikes preventing completion of its production. I still haven't seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, or Quantumania, or Thor Love and Thunder. Is that it? Is that me up to date now? Yeah, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which were excellent, but those others I've not watched. To that end, Riri Williams' solo outing is not the only Marvel production to be affected by these strikes. Thanks to the ongoing stalemate between the unions and studios, production on both Daredevil Born Again and the Yahya Abdul-Mateen II-led Wonder Man series. I've never heard of it. It's the first time reading about this. This mention of the latter by the Hollywood Reporter being the first confirmation of both the former Black Manta actors casting as the title hero and the series having begun production. I don't think anybody else had heard of it either then. Far from the first shake-up to the studio's TV plans, this update comes just several months after Marvel boss Kevin Feige confirmed that in light of the ratings failures of Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, which I kind of liked Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law, the pace at which we're putting out the Disney Plus shows will change so they can each get a chance to shine. I think when we are doing about 8 projects a year, and again, I said this is going to shift a little bit, they all have to be different, he told Entertainment Weekly in February 2023. They all have to stand apart and stand alone and be different from one another. And there's Elizabeth Olsen. Oh, I'm a simp. Disney CEO Bob Iger, Uncle Bob, nobody calls him that anymore, do they? Wonder why. Would reiterate the company's commitment to this curation strategy during the company's August 9th Q3 2023 earnings call. Speaking to the House of Mouse's forward-looking strategy for their various film studios, Iger assured investors we're focused on improving the quality of our films and on better economics, not just, or economics, whatever. I'm saying whatever a lot today, aren't I? Sorry. Not just reducing the number of titles we release, but also the cost per title. So, like, not going to be like $200 million for every single thing that they do, which it seems to be for some bizarre reason. So there we go. So they're moving things back because of the strike. They said they were spreading them out because they wanted to give them each time to shine. But I think now they're doing it so they've got things to put on Disney Plus in this current wilderness of new projects that are available because of this strike, which I think will probably end soon, to be honest. To be completely honest. Right, so that's that. I don't really care. I couldn't give a monkeys. I'd never even heard of Wonder Man. Didn't want Agatha. I don't know about Ironheart because I haven't seen Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. She was in that, wasn't she? And Daredevil Born Again, I don't care. The Netflix Daredevil was amazing, but this one won't be. So I don't care. And that's about it. What else is that? Loki season 2, not bothered about that. Because season 1 was terrible. And What If? I didn't even watch all of What If season 1 because I couldn't be bothered. With it. An X-Men 97, well, whatever, it's a cartoon, innit? I didn't even watch the original X-Men cartoon. I've caught the odd episode. Everybody knows that, don't they? But there we go. Right, let's move on. Now then, this is less a news story and more of something else. Star Wars is Unmasking of Sebastian Shaw, not the baddie in X-Men. I forgot what they call it now. That first X-Men film where they went to school. You know you know what I mean. The one with in the alternate timeline or whatever. With I forgot his name now. James McAvoy. That one. What was that one called now? First Class. Not the Sebastian Shaw from X-Men First Class. Not that one. Kevin Bacon, wasn't it? Not that one. The real Sebastian Shaw. Star Wars Unmasking of Sebastian Shaw as Darth Vader disappointed David Prowse. I'm not surprised. The late Dave Prowse, by the way, don't forget. There he is. There's Sebastian Shaw. Is that no? Is that from the newer versions where they've removed his eyebrows? I can't really tell. Have they removed his eyebrows? I can't remember what it was like before. I think it is a new bit, isn't it? And they made his eyes lighter, didn't they? Because I think he had brown eyes, I think. He was there playing his harmonica. There's a YouTube video. It's hilarious. He's playing his harmonica. Anyway, there are a lot of things about Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi, that gave fans closure for the trilogy. The second Death Star was blown up. The Emperor, Ian McDiarmid, I think I spelled that wrong. Maybe not, I don't know. Was defeated. Han Solo, Harrison Ford, and Leia Organa, Carrie Fisher finally admitted their feelings and kissed. We also found out that Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and Leia were siblings. And saw Darth Vader redeemed and unmasked before his death. He killed the Emperor and saved his son. That redeemed him, did it, for all the other terrible things he's done. Unbelievable. That last one might have been wonderful for fans, but for David Prowse, who did all the physical work for the role, well, 99% of it, with the voice of James Earl Jones replacing his own, and there is one scene, isn't there, where it's another actor. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but there is a photo of him in the Darth Vader costume doing an insert in it, holding Luke's lightsaber. That's not Dave Prowse, that's another actor. It was a disappointment. That is according to an interview with Prowse with Rock Seller magazine in 2012. The actor, who passed away at the age of 85 in 2020, had been a bodybuilder, helped train Christopher Reeve for his 1978 Superman role, and appeared in projects like A Clockwork Orange, the 1967 Casino Royale, and the 1981 BBC adaptation of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget all the Hammer films he were in. He played the Frankensteins monster, didn't he? More than once. He said his being physically replaced wasn't because of anything he did, but the role of Darth Vader was a big one. Not being seen as himself was a blow. In a world with social media, hardcore fans are quick to let people know who is under costumes that cover faces, like how Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder are often inside Din Djarin's suit in The Mandalorian, while Pedro Pascal does the voice and sometimes the suit, usually when they need to see his face and he takes his helmet off. Which he didn't do at all, did he, in Mandalorian Season 3? I don't think at any time Pedro Pascal was in that suit in Mandalorian Season 3. Not that you'd know or care. When Prowse was playing Darth Vader, however, this wasn't the case. By the way, I didn't hate The Mandalorian Season 3. It wasn't as good as the first 2 seasons, but, it were kind of pushing Din Djarin kind of to one side and telling us that the Mandalorian is actually going to be Bo-Katan or whatever, isn't it? Anyway, but by the by, I forgot what I want now. When Prowse was playing Darth Vader, however, this wasn't the case. He recorded the dialogue, then found out that George Lucas had James Earl Jones re-record what would be played over his movement. Then he found out he'd been replaced again. He recalled, by the way, uh, if you've heard his voice in the is it dailies, whatever they call them, in the the on-set audio, you know why he was replaced. I'm sorry, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. I can't believe that he got upset that they changed it, that they replaced his voice because he's um, what, you're part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away. Something like bloody Pam Ayres than an evil Dark Lord of the Sith. Pam Ayres is a famous West Country poet in the UK, by the way. Anyway, he recalled, I wasn't privy to everything going on in the movie and was disappointed when I learned that the dying Darth Vader would be played by actor Sebastian Shaw. I think the fans were disappointed too, as they hoped to see Dave Prowse when Darth Vader was finally unmasked. I never thought that when I was, how old was I? 13? No, 16 in 1983, wasn't it? It never even crossed my mind, to be honest. I wasn't like thinking, oh, I hope we see David Prowse. Ooh. No, didn't care. It's hard to imagine how much that must have sucked. You get a part in what became one of the most well-known movies in the world. You lose the speaking part, and after being promised that your face would finally be shown, that gets taken away. That gets taken from you in what everyone assumed would be the last Star Wars film. So did he actually film it then? Or was that done separately? But when he wasn't there, when he wasn't around, probably not. Probably filmed when he wasn't there. I forgot where I was now. According to Prowse, the casting change happened because Shaw and Sir Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, were close friends. Shaw, he explained, was having a bad time financially, and Guinness asked Lucas about getting him a part. It was the only role available. Anyway, it says it happened to Sebastian Shaw too. Yeah, it did, in this baffling decision. I've no idea why he did this. Prowse continued. Unfortunately, everybody was expecting to see me. Another one. And unfortunately for me, they got to see Sebastian Shaw. I mean, who did we see in Empire Strikes Back? Was it the back of Dave Prowse's head? I don't know. Was it? It could have been, for all I know. I don't know. When we saw him without his helmet on, when it came on and went thunk. Was that David Prowse, the back of David Prowse's head? It could have been, or I don't know. Maybe not. Answers on a postcard to Mercury Rap, not Mercury Rap, that old Yorkshire Geek. That's my book, isn't it? That old Yorkshire Geek, that old Yorkshire Geek Towers, that old Yorkshire Geek Lane, Yorkshire. I forgot where I want now. I'll start again. Unfortunately, everybody was expecting to see me. And unfortunately for me, they got to see Sebastian Shaw, not Kevin Bacon. I would have loved to play that part, and it had nothing to do with any problems they were having with me or anything like that. It was simply Alec doing his friend a favour, and George was doing him a favour, as it were. Plus, probably his voice. I think Sebastian Shaw probably had a better voice than Dave Prowse, because if he was a thespian friend of Alec Guinness, he probably had a decent voice. Well, he did. We heard him, didn't we? and it didn't come on saying, if we had Dave Prowse, he'd have been going, tell your sister she was right. That's what it has done, wouldn't it? Anyway, Prowse wasn't alone in being replaced. It happened to Sebastian Shaw too. Shaw, who worked extensively in theatre and appeared in films like The Old Curiosity Shop and All's Well That Ends Well, passed away at the age of 89 in 1994. Didn't live to see this, but in 2004, Lucas replaced Shaw's version of Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost with Hayden Christensen. God knows why. He, of course, played Anakin as a youth in the second two prequel films. Jake Lloyd played him as a child in the first one. Whatever ended up happening on film, fans will forever be grateful for the imposing presence of Dave Prowse on the camera. All the Star Wars films are currently streaming on Disney+. Yeah. Why did we see a young Yoda and a Ewan McGregor? There, then. Why don't you just replace all of them? Because George Lucas sometimes is a bit of an idiot, isn't he? I know he's a genius, but sometimes his decisions are baffling. And I think he just sometimes does things for the sake of it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, where are you? F11. Next up. Speaking of George Lucas, we're staying on Star Wars. There it is. George Lucas's secret role in Obi-Wan Kenobi's Darth Vader rematch revealed. By the way, let's make sure we're still going. I don't know why that always seems to go silly on the YouTube. I don't know what they call it. This thing in YouTube. It always seems to fall behind for some bizarre reason. Check me sure there are no messages on any of the other places. No, there ain't. No, right. Okay, right. Where were we? George Lucas's secret role. It's not a secret role. I had a quick. I usually don't read the articles, but I had a quick glance at this one. I didn't read it properly, but I had a quick scan through it, and it's not a secret role at all. The director talking out of their ass, unless I missed it because I was just scanning through it. George Lucas' secret role in Obi-Wan Kenobi's Darth Vader rematch revealed. What the hell was that? Noises outside. Star Wars creator George Lucas had a significant role behind the camera while developing an important sequence in Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Ewan McGregor-led Star Wars series' finale showcased the much-awaited rematch between Hayden Christensen's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, it were awful. It were awful, wasn't it? Which came roughly 10 years chronologically after their last duel on Mustafar in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Oh, pardon me. The two former friends engaged in an intense clash where Kenobi managed to defeat Vader once more before their final confrontation in 1977's Star Wars A New Hope. Right. Oh, that's a clip from it. In an interview with Variety, Matthew Wood, Obi-Wan Kenobi's supervising sound editor, talked about the development of the sound design for the series' rematch between the titular Jedi and Darth Vader in the finale. Wood confirmed, that Star Wars creator George Lucas was the one who organised the sound team for Kenobi and Darth Vader's rematch, noting that he had the whole team be involved in the project from a very early time. I think this is how do you interpret this thing? Right, here we go. Quote, one of the things that we have here at Skywalker Sound is the legacy of working with George Lucas. He really had us be involved in the project from a very early time, so we knew that there was going to be a confrontation between two legacy characters. I don't think George had anything to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Kenobi series. I think they're just saying that he put the team together originally, and it just happens to be the same team at Skywalker Sound that's working now, that were working then on Kenobi. That's how I think that should be interpreted. Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi's supervising sound editor continued by saying that they made sure to honour Ben Burtt's legacy at Skywalker Sound. We want to make sure we honour what's come before us. Learn to spell American. You need a U in that. You know, in the legacy of Ben Burt, didn't he have two T's in his name as well? I'm sure it's Ben Burt with two T's. And what he's created here at Skywalker Sound, and everyone is very respectful of that material. During the much discussed rematch, there was a moment when Darth Vader's mask was shattered by Kenobi, much like we saw in Clone Wars. I think it was Ahsoka that did it that time, wasn't it? I could be wrong. According to Wood, not Clone Wars, Rebels, wasn't it? I can't remember. Yeah, it will have been Rebels, won't it? According to Wood, the sound crew spent an extra set of time working on that specific scene since it was the first time that fans saw Hayden Christensen's face through the mask. We did leave an extra set of time just to work on this one scene because it's a moment where you know you're seeing the face of Hayden Christensen through the mask for the first time, other than when it was put on in Revenge of the Sith. That battle between friends that we finally get to see from the prequel era when we saw them as friends, and then we see Anakin on the side of a lava flow. And that's the last time Obi-Wan sees him. So this was a moment for them to have some humanity. Wood explained how the scene managed to perfectly blend the performances of Christensen and the original Darth Vader voice actor James Earl Jones. Didn't they have want his voice recreated though in that like deep fake voice thing that they've got? Sure it was. We really wanted to make sure that Hayden Christensen's performance came through from the day, so we had that very fragile, intimate scene there. But then in the meantime, we also had the voice of James Earl Jones to come through, and so we tried a really nice blend of those two moments. We found the great moments where you can start the sentence with Hayden and end it with James. The series' supervising sound editor then talked about how the team tried to make the cracked mask sound scary in the scene. Not talking about George Lucas here, are they? Not talking about George Lucas. The mask which keeps him alive is broken, so his health is failing at the same time, but he's driven by anger. We really tried to make the cracked mask sound scary, like it was starting to malfunction to the point where his body is not going to be able to function anymore. And so Obi-Wan's effectively leaving him for dead again on this planet. Wood reflected on Christensen's own reaction to seeing his performance, noting that he was very happy to hear what he did during that pivotal sequence. Still not mentioning George Lucas. And Hayden Christensen, I know personally, I saw him after we aired it, and he was very happy to hear that, like his performance was there. We wanted to preserve that humanity, and that was something that was done in the mix. Wood also reflected on making the moment very special. So we really just set aside this moment to be very special and reverent to these blah, 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 blah. Right. See if it mentions George Lucas. Because it's going on, is this article. No mention of George Lucas. No mention of George Lucas. You see Obi-Wan. He's picking up things. Blah, blah, blah. Trial and error. Right, here we go. Back down at the bottom. Why George Lucas' presence in Star Wars projects is important. Right. Although Star Wars ushered in a new era, George Lucas still has a consistent presence behind the scenes. The renowned filmmaker visited the set of The Mandalorian Season 2. He visited the set. They were probably there for a day. And he even gave the show's producer, Dave Filoni, some tough love during production. But they probably paid no attention to him, to be completely honest. The reveal of Lucas's deep involvement in organising Obi-Wan Kenobi's sound team cemented the fact that the filmmaker still has a passion for Star Wars. I think they are misconstruing that. As in, I think he put the sound team together back in the day, and it just happens to be the same sound team that now worked on Kenobi. Not that he put the team together for Kenobi. I don't think that's what happened. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's what happened. Based on Matthew Wood and Bonnie Wild's comments, Lucas's work also allowed the sound team to experiment with blending legacy sounds from blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think they're misconstruing that. I don't think it had anything to do with Kenobi, and I think he was probably mortified when he watched it, like the rest of us. Although it was funny when Kenobi ran away, didn't he? When he saw Vader standing there, and he just ran off. That was funny. That was really funny. Anyway, we'll leave that there because that's a stupid article and doesn't deserve the time of day, in my opinion. Because Disney have nothing to do with George Lucas. They want to just destroy his legacy. That's what they want to do. Deliberately. And I think even Dave Filoni wants to do that as well. He wants to make Star Wars his own. He says, he's all about George and all that, and he was George's protege, but he thinks he's moved beyond that. The pupil has succeeded the master, in his opinion. Right, Star Trek Lower Decks gets a new season 4 trailer. Remember, I used to hate Lower Decks. I know I've said this before, that I loathed Lower Decks, but I don't anymore. I like it, so there we go. I like it now. I stuck with it. I give it another go, and I stuck with it, and now I like it. So I'm looking forward to this season 4. With just a week to go until Star Trek Lower Decks returns for its 4th season, Paramount Plus has released a new poster and trailer for the returning animated sci-fi comedy series, which you can check out below. And there's the poster of screaming in some sort of crashing shuttle. What are they on there? That says YOR. What's that? Are they on Yorktown? Don't know. Some moons blowing up in the background. And sparks flying in the cabin. Yeah, I wonder what that says there. Got me wondering. In season 4, an unknown force is destroying starships and threatening galactic peace. Luckily, the crew of the USS Cerritos isn't important enough for stuff like that. Instead, ensigns Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, Rutherford, and provisional ensign Tallinn are keeping up with their Starfleet duties, avoiding malevolent computers and getting stuck in a couple of caves, all while encountering new and classic aliens along the way. And here's the trailer, so shall we give it a go? Yeah, what the heck.
In a galaxy where anything can happen, one crew always rises to the challenge. Then there's the USS Cerritos.
Oh, spicy.
Look at us, Lower Decks, preaching protocol together. Friendship.
Starfleet isn't all about being fed fruit by erotic aliens with slightly different nose ridges. Sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty. It's on.
Is it safe for us to be breathing that?
You look like a goddamn sea creature.
What the f just happened?
I have the best crew in the fleet right here on the Cerritos.
What up, Big Limo?
Yikes.
I'm not Boimler. I'm Anti-Grav Boy, protector of the lower decks.
I'm gonna rip your eyes out.
That fact wasn't fun.
Come on, baby, give Rutherford the juice. Let's do this!
Shut up! Don't move! Computer, hit it.
Hitting it.
On September 7th,
Oh my god, we get to do something on Voyager!
prepare to take adventure.
I'm getting a promotion?
As long as nothing goes sideways today.
But stuff always goes sideways.
To a whole new level.
Holy f***!
Run for your lives! That should prove to be a disaster.
Oh god, it's on me!
Hell yeah!
To the Cerritos!
Lower Decks! Lower Decks!
Star Trek Lower Decks.
I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional.
New season streaming September 7th, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
So there we go. Lower Decks season 4, September 7th, which is not long. It's this Thursday, actually, isn't it? This Thursday. Cool. Can't wait for that. So we'll see what happens, We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the Tuvix episode to see what happens. I bet it's got nothing to do with Tuvix, the Voyager character. I bet it's just a play on words. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get through these blinking articles. That's what we'll do. Right. Not that any bugger's watching. Stranger Things director reveals hints season 5 will continue an awesome season 4 trend. Was there a trend in season 4? I can't remember much what happened in season 4, apart from Metallica. Masters of Puppets. That's all I can remember. Stranger Things season 5 will count on the talents of a sci-fi horror director, hinting at the series continuing season 4's best trend. What's that doing there? Oh, it's gone now. It pops back up. Go away, commercials. Crush capitalism. Anyway, Stranger Things is preparing. That's not from Stranger Things. That's Jenna Ortega, isn't it? It's Wednesday Addams, which I really like that series, Wednesday. Anyway, Stranger Things is preparing for its 5th and final season, and it seems to be continuing the best trend of season 4. Stranger Things has stood out for its mix of fantasy and horror, as well as its many references and tributes to 1980s pop culture. But each season has brought a couple of changes to the series' tone. Stranger Things Season 1 and 2 were more about suspense, as they were introducing the audience to the Upside Down and its many mysteries, with Season 3 adding more action and drama to the mix, with the presence of the Russians in Hawkins. Although that's the name of the town, by the way, Hawkins. Although all seasons have had their dose of horror, it wasn't until season 4 that Stranger Things fully embraced this side of its story. Vecna's Jamie Campbell Bower arrival allowed the series to lean more towards horror, making way for the most shocking twists and turns in Stranger Things Season 4, as were Vecna's plans, the murders he committed in Hawkins, and Max's tragic fate. Oh, aye, as well as Metallica, also Kate Bush, wasn't there? Running up that road. That one. No, it wasn't that, was it? It was something else, wasn't it? Was it? Or it? Whatever. Little is known about Stranger Things' upcoming 5th and final season, but a new director reveal points at Season 5 continuing Season 4's horror path, maybe even with a heavier sci-fi dose. All right. In June 2023, Stranger Things announced on its official Twitter account that Dan Trachtenberg will direct one episode of Season 5. What if is he related to... Is it Michelle Trachtenberg who played Buffy's sister in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Is it related to her? Probably not. Just wondering. What's her name now? Dawn, wasn't it? Anyway. Right, Trachtenberg is joining a very special list of Stranger Things directors, as most of the series' episodes have been directed by either creators Matt and Ross Duffer or executive producer Sean Levy. Stranger Things directors include Andrew Stanton, Finding Nemo, Rebecca Thomas, Electric Children, never heard of it, Uta Brzezowicz, apologies, Black Mirror's Maisie Day, and Nimrod Antal, Predators, which is good. Predators, which is Predators. Oh, that's the one with Adrian Brody in, isn't it? With Trachtenberg bringing a different touch of sci-fi horror and suspense to the series. Dan Trachtenberg's filmography isn't extensive, but its quality can't be denied. Trachtenberg's career as a filmmaker began with short films, and his feature directorial debut arrived in 2016 with the sci-fi horror thriller 10 Cloverfield Lane, which were okay. The spiritual successor to Matt Reeves' Cloverfield, except it wasn't. It was just tacked on at the end. It was nothing to do with Cloverfield. Then they decided, let's make this, a quasi-Cloverfield sequel. So they just added a bit at the end. Which I think we're also kind of done with the Cloverfield Paradox. Just make a sequel to Cloverfield, for Christ's sake, a proper one. Anyway, 10 Clover... I actually thought about writing a sequel, just for myself. And I had the idea that we were going to see the same events from Cloverfield, but from a different perspective, as like found footage again. Because I think we saw other people running about with camcorders, in the background and stuff. So, but anyway, I forgot where I was now. 10 Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane was a critical and commercial success, giving Trachtenberg a Directors Guild of America Award nomination for Outstanding Directing. First-time feature film. That same year, Trachtenberg directed Black Mirror's episode Playtest, and in 2019, he directed the pilot episode of The Boys. Ooh. After directing the pilot episode for The Lost Symbol, never heard of it, Trachtenberg returned to the big screen in 2022 with Prey. Not big screen though, was it? We're on Hulu, wasn't it? And Disney Plus, everywhere else. So maybe it had a limited release, but it wasn't on the big screen. It would, they mean with, a movie, motion picture, but it wasn't on the big screen, was it? Anyway, part of the Predator franchise, and it was good, I enjoyed it, which has been endlessly praised and has even been named the best Predator installment since the first movie. Since the second one. Stranger Things Season 4 has arguably the most shocking and bleak ending of the series so far. Not only is Max in a coma, but Vecna succeeded and the Upside Down started taking over Hawkins. Oh, there were a big earthquake, wasn't there? A big crack appeared. With Vecna still alive and hiding somewhere in the Upside Down, Stranger Things Season 5 is expected to continue Season 4's horror theme, and Trachtenberg's involvement is a good sign. But what about all the other directors? Unlike the above-mentioned previous directors, Trachtenberg is a more sci-fi and horror-oriented director, one who has been praised for his works in these areas. Trachtenberg can bring a full-on horror experience to Stranger Things Season 5, helping the series end on a high note. I'm going to look him up and see if he's related to the other one. Trachtenberg. It's probably a super popular, common name, isn't it? Probably. Wikipedia. Let's have a look there. Okay, right. No, it doesn't say. So it's probably not related to her. Probably not related to her. Born Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And who's the other one? Who's the other one we're on about? She's from New York, so I don't think they're related. They just happen to have the same name. Trachtenberg's probably like Johnson. Oh dear. Anyway, just thought I'd clear that up. Right, let's move on. Looking forward to Season 5. It was fun. But Season 4, I suppose. Particularly the Metallica bit. Right, got a couple of lists now. We're into gaming now because I'm something of a gamer. Not if you watch me YouTube videos. I'm not. Anyway, best space and sci-fi games on the Nintendo Switch. So there we go. I thought I'd do this on the Switch. I've got a Switch. It's there. I'm not going to get it up and show you because it'll turn on. Never play the bugger. Keep forgetting about it. My son keeps saying, "Are you going to sell that?" I don't know. Anyway. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the... these are the best space and science fiction games that can be found on the Nintendo Switch, despite the fact that none of the developers in this list has actually been to space. What? What makes a good space game? Well, it first has to take place in space. Don't go telling us that technically Earth is in space, because you know what we mean. Space, other planets, moons, interstellar travel. These are all fantastic beginnings for a good space game. But space isn't just about travelling between the stars and shooting the bad aliens. Extraterrestrial science fiction can explore themes that are less possible in our current day realities. The existence of new and diverse flora and fauna, for instance, or what it's like to terraform and colonize a planet. What does it mean to be separated from your family by several hundred light years? What does it mean to be in cold sleep? What if aliens aren't good or evil, but just as complicated as humans? All of the games that we've compiled in this list have something interesting, exciting, or thoughtful to say about space, and we highly recommend you check them out. Or pop them on your wish list at least. And keep an eye out for more, because humans will probably never tire of a good space story. Oh, and if it's space shooty games you're looking for, then some of them may be on this list, but you'll have better luck with our best Nintendo Switch flight sim and space combat games list. I should have looked there first, shouldn't I? Never mind. Right, first up, the Outer Worlds Switch version. I've got this on my PC. My son's got it for the PS4. I've not got very far into it, to be completely honest, but, it's fine. Obsidian has created a wonderful slice of space filled with genuinely entertaining characters and excellent writing that injects the often bog-standard side quests and errand missions with a level of wit and charm that's all too often missing in the genre. Is it Fallout in space? Absolutely, but there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, yeah, it is. As you can see, you end up with people talking to you in this game. But it looks nice. It's nice looking. Well, it is on the PC and the PlayStation. Not sure about the Switch. I suppose it looks okay, doesn't it? It's probably not as detailed. Because obviously the Switch is not as powerful, as the PC or the Xbox or the PlayStation. But I'm sure it's fine. Right, Heaven's Vault on the Switch eShop. Does it tell us how much they are? Oh, by the way, the Outer Worlds you can get on Amazon for 45 quid or $60. Right, Switch eShop. It's not telling us how much it is there. In Heaven's Vault, you play an archaeologist travelling across the riverways of a fictional galaxy to discover what happened to a lost civilization through fragments of their writings. It's a unique take on spacefaring, in which an entire race of people is made to exist through nothing but what they left behind. Very interesting, is it? So, what is it going to be like? A point and click or something like that? Or you actually do things? Looks like a point and clicker, doesn't it? Something along those lines. Anyway, as I said, usually with Switch games, they're pretty simple looking, to be honest. Anyway, Astroneer Switch eShop. Many space games deal with the organizational joy of building and maintaining a space base, but often those games position you as a SimCity-style omnipresent sky being. Astroneer puts you on the ground, moving gigantic building blocks around by yourself and terraforming the planet with nothing but a handheld terrain tool. Astroneer's colourful, varied, and deadly planets offer a surprising amount to discover, and the resource collecting heart of the game is incredibly moreish. Let's have a look at. I'm just saying that. Oh, did I go on to the next the next game? I think I did, didn't I? So this is from Astroneer, not that previous one. I went too far. Anyway, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time Switch eShop. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is one of those chaotic couch co-op games that's great for parties and partners alike. It doesn't go super hard on space themes, so what's it on this list for? But it's on this list, as a take on the space shooter genre that does things a little differently with love, bunnies, and teamwork. Right. It's a Switch eShop there, but it also says $30 from Amazon. So you must be able to get it on there. It'd be either a card, they're on memory cards, aren't they? Or maybe a code that you enter. So let's have a look. Yeah, very interesting. I don't think that'd be for me. Everspace Stellar Edition Switch eShop. Everspace is a rogue-like slice of solitary space combat that has you constantly weighing the cost or benefit of exploring versus scarpering before enemy forces show up. A narrative hook means frequent death is expected and even required. And while you lose your ship, the credits you earned can be spent before your next try. Persistent upgrades and unlocks turn failure into progress. Sure, you bought the farm in a spectacular dogfight or embarrassing collision, but at least you've got something to show for it. I don't think I'd like that. That's $40 from Amazon. But let's have a look. I'd say it looks fine enough, I suppose. But if you're dying a lot in it, it'll put me off. I don't like dying. But anyway, I don't know how many games. If it goes on too long, you can follow the link. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Switch eShop. I think I've got this for the original Xbox somewhere. Might be upstairs. Star Wars has been a mainstay of pop culture for so long that sometimes it's hard to remember that it's about space and not just the dating lives of the Skywalkers. KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, does a spectacular job of creating a world that feels adequately lived in, and a big part of this can be credited to the in-depth dialogue system. Ooh, cracky. In which ensures that even conversations with one-and-done NPCs have more to them than just one or two lines. Plus, there's a morality system. Everyone knows that space is all about morality. Yeah. I started it on the Xbox One, but not the Xbox, the original Xbox. I started it on there, but I never finished it. To be honest, I never finished it. I didn't really get that far. Showing its age, there's graphics in it. Oh dear. Right, Tales from the Borderlands Switch eShop. By the way, it's not telling us how much that one is either. Tales from the Borderlands, Switch eShops. My son likes the Borderlands games. I think I've tried one of them, probably the first one. I quite often don't get very far into games. Anyway, Tales from the Borderlands absolutely excels at creating a take on the Borderlands universe that's chock full of entertaining action and populated by well-written characters you actually grow to care about. It consistently delivers actual belly laughs over its 10-hour runtime, manages to convincingly portray its core protagonist's emotional journeys, blah, 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 blah. So I'm sure that's fine. I'm just going to scroll down now because it's going on a bit, isn't it? Nausea. Is it Nausea? I don't know how to pronounce it. Switch eShop. Is that space? For all I know. Graceful Explosion Machine, whatever. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. So that sounds interesting, doesn't it? But that's on the eShop as well. Inner Space. Is that the Dennis Quaid film? Switch eShop. So that looks interesting, I suppose. I don't know. Is it? Heck. Void Bastards. That you wouldn't think you'd see that on a Nintendo thing, would you? Nintendo are all about the kiddie winks, aren't they? Surely. And that's it. Oh, there's a page 2. Let's see what's on page 2. Opus, Echo of Star Song, Starlink Battle for Atlas. Which is only 16 quid from Amazon. Probably means it's not very good. The Artful Escape, Switch eShop. Alien Isolation. Is that out on the Switch? I've got that for the PS4. Another one I've not got very far with. Citizen Sleeper. Subnautica. Well, surely that's under the sea, not in space. Journey to the Savage Planet. No Man's Sky. I've got that for the PS4, and I've not played that either. I've not got very well. I started it actually when it first came out. I got it, put it on, started playing it, and then I got stuck. I couldn't get anywhere. I was on a space station, and when I launched from the space station, I was immediately attacked by all these baddies, and I couldn't get away from them. It wouldn't let me warp away or whatever the term is. Because it said you can't get under combat or whatever, combat conditions. So I couldn't escape. So I just got destroyed every time, and I couldn't get away. So I just put it to one side and forgot about it. And then apparently they did loads of updates to it, didn't there, and patches and stuff, because people complaining it were rubbish. And so I went back to it, and I was still on the space station. I launched, and there were no baddies anymore. So I thought, oh, cool. So I went to another planet and then got bored and turned it off. Anyway, so there you go. So give No Man's Sky a try. Metroid Prime Remastered. Never played the Metroid games, but I hear they're very popular. Radiant Silvergun. Ray's Arcade Chronology. There we go. That's it. So there you go. Give some Switch games a go if you've got a Switch. If you haven't got a Switch, do you want to buy one? Right, let's move on. Nearly done. I'll be getting there. Right. Another list. I should have saved this really for me Patreon, but I thought, well, what the heck? We'll have a list. I've done a list for a while in a new stream. 10 best Star Trek ships that aren't the Enterprise. So what we got there? There's the Voyager. There's a Borg Cube. Oh, that's the Discovery. Oh God, hideous bloody thing. It's not. It's a bloody pizza cutter, isn't it? Right, let's have a look. In every Star Trek generation, see what they did there. The USS Enterprise is the Federation's flagship. Not in. It's in. It isn't. It wasn't the Federation flagship in the original series, and it wasn't the Federation flagship for the early days of the Next Generation. Anyway. But there are many exceptional starships that don't bear that name. Some of these ships are Starfleet vessels. Oh, Leonhard's back. Hello, Minion. Some of these ships are Starfleet vessels that have just as impressive service records as any of the Enterprises, while others have played an integral role in Star Trek history. Not every great starship is a Starfleet vessel either, as one or two early ships, blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look. Right. USS Cerritos. Oh, that's the California class from Lower Decks. Very good. apparently the California class are looked down upon. I don't know why. They're kind of cool. It's a bit like a Miranda variant, aren't they, of the Galaxy class, kind of, but different. HMS Bounty. Well, that's a Klingon bird of prey, isn't it? But which class is it? Is it Burrell or Cavort? Don't know. Don't know. Oh, it says there it's a Burrell class. There we go. It's telling us there. One's big and one's little, isn't it? Like I said, it's probably the Cavort class then. That's the huge version of the bird of prey. USS Discovery is hideous. USS Excelsior. It's also hideous, but for some reason really popular. People like it, but I think it's bloody ugly. USS Dauntless, but that was just there. That wasn't really a ship, though, was it? It was an alien ship. It wasn't the USS. It wasn't a Federation ship, was it? It was basically an alien ship with holograms and stuff. USS Protostar, which is too small, and it's got a bridge window, so that puts it out of the list for me. Borg Cube. Yes, well, Borg cubes and Borg spheres and tactical cubes and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. USS Titan, the one we saw in Lower Decks, not the one that we saw in Picard. This is the Nova class, I think. I'm going to get that right. Does it say? Doesn't say. I always get them mixed up. Which is cool. Did so well. The next version of it got an A prefix, and then it got taken away and renamed the Enterprise. Hate that. USS Voyager, yes, cool. One of my favourites. Love the Intrepid class. And USS Defiant, which I've never been a huge fan of, to be honest. It's basically, I mean, it was originally supposed to be like a big runabout, wasn't it? And you kind of can see that. But it's, tough little ship. So there we go. So I just thought I'd go through them quickly. There we go. 10 ships that aren't the Enterprise. I mean, there are others they could have put on. I mean, I like the Ferengi Marauder that we don't see a lot of in Star Trek, but Ferengi Marauders were cool. But you don't see Ferengis doing a lot of marauding, do you? Because they were supposed to be, a baddie, weren't they? A proper baddie to replace the Klingons, and then they made a joke out of them. Anyway, right, nearly done. Nearly done. Oh, where are we now? I can see it's all bloody adverts. Daily Mail. I quit my job to hunt for Nessie. Man who spent 32 years living beside Loch Ness says new sighting, in quotes, is the greatest proof the monster really does exist. Last weekend's mass search for the Loch Ness monster heralded new sightings and the filming of the first ever video of the alleged creature. A series of sightings taken by translator Kelly, and me, in 2018, but which only came to light after the latest hunt began, showed an eel-like creature briefly on the surface of the water. Steve Feltham, who has the world record for the longest Nessie vigil after living by the famous loch for more than 32 years, called Ms. Kelly's photographs the most exciting of the alleged monster that he has ever seen, and he would know. Because Mr. Feltham, 60, who first visited the Loch Ness at the age of 7 in 1970, has devoted most of his life to the hunt for the world-famous monster. Whatever. Oh, and there he is, by the way, next to his van. By the way, they kind of had this character in that film Loch Ness, with Ted Danson in. I think it was played by Keith Allen, but they didn't call him that. But obviously, the character was based on this chap. It's a good film, is Loch Ness. I'd say it's Ted Danson, Jolie Richardson, and Ian Holm. Is it Ian Holm? Yeah, I think it is. Good film. Good family film. And there's the photo of an eel-like creature. I say it could be bin bags for all we know. Ms. Kelly, 51, spotted what she believes to be the monster while taking photos of her husband, Scott. Well, she's not a Ms. then, is she? She's a Mrs. She's got a bloody husband. In 2018, she quickly started taking pictures after seeing a strange animal move across a distance of around 100 meters at a steady speed from right to left. Well, it depends which way you're looking. That doesn't mean anything. about 200 meters from the shore. The translator told how it was spinning and rolling, and after a couple of minutes, it just disappeared. However, she feared public ridicule, and she did not share the images until the end of last month. Mr. Feltham said, "They are exactly the type of pictures I've been wanting to take for 3 decades. It is rare to see something so clear on the surface. They are vindication for all the people who believe there is something unexplained in Loch Ness. They are remarkable. I have studied them and still do not know what it is. We are lucky the Kellys have decided to go public at last. I have met the Kellys twice, and they are absolutely genuine. I believe them that these pictures were so important, they should make them public. They warrant further investigation. It is not driftwood. It is a moving creature and totally unexplained. The Nessie mystery could date as far back as 565 AD, when Irish missionary Saint Columba was recorded to have encountered a strange water monster in the River Ness, which feeds the famous loch. According to his centuries-old biography, the water beast had slain one man and attacked another when it fled in terror after St. Columba made the sign of the cross and ordered it back. Yeah, of course he did. The first sighting that fueled the modern obsession with the monster came in May 1933. On this date, the Inverness Courier carried a story about a local couple who claimed to have seen an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface. The following year, a picture taken by London physician Robert Kenneth Wilson captured the world's attention. It showed what appeared to be a beast rearing its head out of the water. There was an image before that, though. I think it might have been this one here. Because there is an image from before the surgeon's photo, but it's kind of difficult to make out what's going on, to be honest. It was later exposed as a hoax by one of the participants, Chris Sperling, who on his deathbed revealed that the pictures were staged. A model of a monster had been placed on a toy submarine. In 1936, a sketch of the rumoured beast, after it had supposedly come ashore near the village of Drumnadrochit, I have no idea how to pronounce it, in September 1936, convinced a staggered expert. Nessie. We've got a video here. Is this the most convincing Loch Ness proof? Yeah, all right. So watch the video. So let's have a look.
You're built different.
Bloody adverts. We'll wait. 7, 6, 5. Better come on now. Better blooming come on. Right, off we go. Put the volume up. Is it playing? Yes, it is. Right. Why can't I hear it?
Anushka, welcome to Loch Ness, home of Nessie.
Where's the monster? Wait, don't show it.
Opaque marine reptiles like plesiosaurs, their fossils have been found throughout the UK.
These are some of the most famous photos, I'm told, of the beast.
Not going to show
This
it. Is
thing
it?
just shot through like a torpedo, just a white streak straight against the waves.
Whale-like, upturned boat-like, anything from about 12 to 15 feet baseline and about...
Oh, what have I done? What have I done? Why did that go off then? Why's that gone off?
5 to 6 feet out of the water.
So a couple of hotspots there could be the castle.
Oh, it's whenever I click off and look at them, I was just checking something else. And as soon as I do that, it goes off.
Castle itself, in front of the
Daily
castle,
Mail.
to the loch side of the castle.
Steve Feltham told us that the visibility is good about 10 to 15 feet from the
That's
surface,
a half
but
and
after
a half,
that,
isn't it?
you might be in a different world.
Come on, show us it then. Is this the most convincing Loch Ness
I
monster
saw
proof? Yeah.
has to have been
I'm going to spin it
at
on.
least 12 foot long.
Right, here we go. Showing it on the
Maybe a
phone.
third
Unbelievable.
appendage or something like that. That actually fits very well into the paradigm of what people have described here over the years. You definitely see two hump-like objects sticking high out of the water. It's worth a shot. Let's take the sample and send it into the lab. Man, that looks like it's on the shore.
Read the full in our video that, I mean, Amazon $9.99. Whatever.
Wow. The sounds of Loch Ness.
What? I want to get rid of this. Yeah, it won't let me do anything now. Look, got to wait. Daily Mail, you're a pain in the ass. Come on, go off. Yeah, thanks for that. Right, is that it? Oh, and then it goes on to something else. Oh. All right, we've got some more. Oh, there we go. That looks fake to me, to be completely honest. Superimpose.
What?
Yeah, don't believe you.
What's that?
Don't believe you. Oh, we're showing some more. Showing some more. Is this mysterious wave the Loch Ness monster? With more answers. Right. It was seen both facing forwards and side on, with its rolls of fat around its midriff standing out, a bit like me. The drawing featured in a cache of previously confidential documents dubbed the Monster Files that were publicised last year by the National Museums of Scotland. In 1969, Government Minister Lord Hughes of Hawkshill was mocked by his colleagues in the House of Lords for suggesting that the monster might be real. He was responding to a comment by a fellow peer who had branded the creature's existence a myth that pulled in gullible tourists. Lord Hughes retorted, "I do not know on what scientific ground my noble friend says that the monster is a myth." Then in 1975, a person sent expert. What are you talking about? All right, I see. A person sent expert Ian H.J. Lister of the Royal Scottish Museum the 1936 drawing. Expressing his shock, the natural historian said its appearance explained previous descriptions and photographs, including one famous image taken by Lachlan Stewart in 1951. But I thought they were proven to be. The photo showed 3 humps poking out the surface of the loch, but I thought they were proved to be bales of hay or something covered by tarpaulins or something. I'm sure I'd seen that somewhere. Anyway, the natural historian wrote of the sketch, "I was quite staggered when I first saw the sketch. My first reaction was that such a creature would explain a lot of the apparently odd descriptions of the Loch Ness monster, and also such photographs as the 3 humps taken by Lachlan Stewart in 1951. The odd fleshy lobes hanging from the head have also been variously described by witnesses." And there's a drawing of St. Columba. There's the surgeon's photo. Oh, is this the one from 1936? I've not seen that before, to be completely honest. There we go. Is it whistling? But that's interesting, I suppose. And there's the Lachlan photo. As I said, I'm sure I've seen in another publication that was proven to be bales of hay. The bales of hay in the water covered over with tarpaulins. That's what I read. And that's obviously a sonar, whatever. Lister believed that the monster's appearance meant it could be an older creature, with younger ones likely being thinner. I suspect that younger specimens may not have the floppy fins or the dewlaps, and that it is the younger, more agile ones which are occasionally seen ashore, he wrote. Dewlaps refer to the flaps of loose skin seen in the sketch, which was reported to have been produced by local workman Alistair Dallas. Lister told the sender of the sketch to send him a specimen, but otherwise said he had to retreat behind a smokescreen of scientific caution. Another expert, botanist John Dennis, said the drawing looked like a Walt Disney caricature. However, he said the depiction and others like it were the most reliable he had seen, and claimed that hoaxers would not go to all the trouble. Yeah, they would. In 1955, bank manager Peter McNabb photographed something large moving through the water of the loch near Urquhart Castle. But differences between the negative of the image and the print that was shown to the media cast doubt on its veracity. In 1977, a photo was claimed to be the clearest ever of the beast emerged. Yes, that's a colour one. I remember that one. Similar to the surgeon's photo, you see a long neck with a head on and teeth, because he's got these white teeth. But the man who took it was a magician and psychic who claimed to have summoned the monster from the depths of Loch Ness, with skeptics noting the lack of ripples in the water. It was soon dismissed as a hoax. I'll see if I can find an image of that, because it's a funny one. I mean, it's called the Loch Ness Muppet, it's being called. If I can find it, 1977. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. The Loch Ness Muppet. And I'll open image in new tab, and then I'll pull it over here. Where are we? Right. Can you see that now? There we go. I meant to go full screen and I forgot. Never mind. Yes, that's the one. That's the Loch Ness Muppet from 1977. I don't think that's real, do you? You never know, do you? You never know. But anyway. Where were we? 2007, 55-year-old English lab technician Gordon Holmes claimed to have captured a video of Nessie. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this jet black thing about 45 feet long, moving fairly fast in the water, he claimed. But experts quickly said it was likely a seal or an otter. The monster is said to be worth £41 million in tourism revenue to the region. I've actually got a Nessie fridge magnet in there. I didn't get it myself. My mum went to... she didn't go to Loch Ness. She went to Loch Lomond, but she got a Nessie fridge magnet. But I suppose it's close enough, isn't it? But there is supposed to be a monster in Loch Lomond, isn't there? And Loch Moray. Anyway, according to Google, there are around 200,000 searches each month for the Loch Ness Monster and around 120,000 for information and accommodation close to Loch Ness. As in searches on Google, not actual searches at Loch Ness. The monster mystery is said to be worth £30 million to the region. You said 41 there. The official register has now logged 1,156 sightings from records and other evidence stretching back through the centuries. 3 years ago, startling images of a large creature inhabiting the depths of Loch Ness were captured on sonar off Invermorriston by skipper Ronald Mackenzie aboard his Spirit of Loch Ness tourist boat. Mr. Feltham said they were the most compelling evidence of the existence of a Loch Ness monster. That was a game changer for me, he said. After his initial visit as a 7-year-old, Mr. Feltham, remember from up there, returned many times, first while still as a youngster and then as an adult, where he would come for 2-week expeditions. Armed with a very basic camera and his grandfather's binoculars from the Second World War, he was fully expecting to be able to solve the mystery before he had to return to work. But in 1991, Mr. Feltham knew he had to dedicate more time to his quest. He left his job fitting security cameras, his home and steady girlfriend in Dorset to move to the banks of Loch Ness. Couldn't have gone much further, could they, from Dorset to Loch Ness? That's from one end, the bottom of England up to the top of Scotland, nearly. Within days, his brother located a 20-year-old former mobile library, wood-lined and with a pot-belly stove. It has been Mr. Feltham's home at Dorries ever since, or Dawes, I don't know how to pronounce it. After 2 years of patiently scanning the loch, Mr. Feltham finally caught a glimpse of an unexplained disturbance in the water, but he didn't have his camera to hand. Since then, he has kept a careful watch on the waters of the loch, but Nessie has not shown herself again. Not that Mr. Feltham has given up hope. How's it going on? Is this, isn't it? How long is it going on for? Nearly done. I feel so privileged to be able to dedicate my time to the adventure that I love. It is a fantastic boyhood dream come true. I must admit that I did think it would be slightly easier to solve than it's turned out, but there's no rush. I would say 75% of sightings have a mundane explanation, 10% are deliberate hoaxes, and the rest defy reasonable explanation, and it is those that drive me on each day. In some ways, I arrived 20 years late. That's when the heyday of the eccentric Nessie hunters really was. There are fewer of us now. However, you still hear of 1 or 2 good sightings a year, and people are seeing interesting deep water contacts on sonar. Mr. Feltham has even been the star of a film about him by a director from Oscar winner Ridley Scott's company. I bet it's not going to mention that film, though, is it? Among those who have called on Mr. Feltham over the years have been Eric Idle and the late Robin Williams, the Chinese State Circus, dropping by for a photo shoot, and Billy Connolly, who invited him to be a guide for half a dozen of his A-list chums for a day. Mr. Feltham completely underestimated the time it would take to find the answer to the riddle of Nessie. When he started searching for the Loch Ness Monster, Mr. Feltham thought he would solve one of the world's greatest mysteries within 3 years. But he has become such a permanent fixture at Loch Ness that he even became a member of the Dawes Community Council, a position he held for 10 years. He was also named Ambassador of the Year at the Highlands and Islands Tourism Awards. The adventurer makes money by creating models of the Loch Ness Monster and selling them to tourists. I never came here to be a cottage industry. I came here to solve a mystery, said Mr. Feltham. I don't regret a day of it. And there he is. There he is with his... there's a younger man. There he is now. Still in the same mobile library. But it's not very mobile now. When I first came, I thought I was looking for a plesiosaur, then a Welsh catfish, or Wells catfish, whatever. The jury is out, but I definitely think Nessie is an animal. I think we are getting close to finding the answer. Searching for Nessie, Mr. Feltham found love. Around 18 years ago, Mr. Feltham met his partner, Hilary, 57, on the banks of Loch Ness while she was on a trip from her home in Inverness. But Mr. Feltham admitted he had so far failed to convince her of Nessie's existence. She has an open mind and is on the fence, which is good because it helps me question things, he said. And there we go. So there, that's it. And some boobs. So there we go. Is Nessie real? Possibly. Why not? Why not? It's a big, deep, long loch. 900 feet deep. And was it 28 miles long and 2 miles wide at its maximum. But yeah, I don't see why it can't exist. I don't see why it can't exist. Even if it is, even if it's not a plesiosaur, there's something weird in that loch in there. Right, let's move on. Last one. Oh, go away. Bloody adverts. Last one. Still on the Daily Mail, by the way. So adverts are plenty because you've got to turn off your ad blocker. So read the Daily Mail. Bloody nuisance it is. Big cats. I've solved the mystery of Britain's big cat sightings. Animal expert says there are strange animals roaming in the countryside, but they're not pumas. Haley Duron says canines' cat-like behaviour could hold the key to sightings. Right. An animal expert claims big cats spotted prowling Britain's moors are actually black foxes, with as many as 400 roaming the countryside. Former zookeeper Haley Durand, cool name, founder of Black Foxes UK, says that the cat-like behaviour of the canine could hold the key to sightings across the country. The number of the rare melanomistic foxes is growing in the UK as they breed with regular red foxes. She believes these are responsible for an accelerating number of black wildcats being reported. The wildlife expert said people didn't know about them originally, and over the years, I think a lot of those experts might not have made the same assessment. They might have accurately ID'd a melanistic or silver fox. There's a melanistic fox. I don't think you'd mistake that for a cat, though, would you? I don't think you would. That. I think this is the latest photo, by the way, of a big cat sighting. That doesn't look like that fox to me, but anyway. That doesn't look like that, does it? I don't think it does. The fox is known as cat-like, and being black, they are like giant house cats. They are much more like cats than like dogs. If somebody believes they have seen a big cat more often than not, it's going to be a more regular animal. If they are adamant they have seen a big cat, then there's a high chance that it might be a fox instead, that they did see something unusual, but it isn't quite what they thought. And there's a picture of her. Once you point it out to people what it is, they suddenly see what you're seeing. They are not only foxes, they can be dogs, cats. I believe a few cows get confused. What? Ms. Durand believes the number of sightings of big cats has particularly grown as black foxes begin to breed with the native red fox population. And she says there is no need to be afraid if you think you spot a big cat out in the wild. Oh, yeah, go, oh, come here, cute fox. And then it turns out to be a bloody panther and rips your throat out. She continued, if they were here and dangerous, we'd have known about it. Foxes can nip people to elicit food, but if big cats were here and were dangerous, we'd have known about it long before now. But the government's covering it up, obviously. But Ms. Durand does admit there could be the occasional cat on the loose if they have escaped, although these will be extremely limited and they do not tend to survive long outside captivity. She added, there are exotic pet escapes, and I think that's a different issue. See, that's obviously a fox, isn't it? You wouldn't mistake a panther for that, would you? Or that for a panther. Anyway, although these will be... How long is this article going for? Not long, right? Okay. Although these will be extremely limited, they do not tend to survive long outside captivity. You've just said that. She added, there are exotic pets. You've just seen that as well. Domesticated and captive bred animals don't last... We stop repeating yourself, woman. It's surprising how many that escaped, if not found within a week, are found deceased or have been involved in a road traffic accident. They just don't have the skills to navigate a wild, human-dominated environment. Foxes in general are really good for our ecology. I think they're quite misunderstood, and they've been persecuted in the UK quite a lot. Without them, we'd be overrun with rodents. They're free dustmen. They're not just the nuisance that people think they are. But we are overrun with rodents. But they said that, especially in cities, that you're never more than, 6 feet away from a rat. But anyway, I think, it might be, some of them, people sometimes might see a melanistic fox if there's, hundreds of them running about. But I don't think you'd mistake one of those for a panther or a leopard or whatever. What interesting notion, but I don't think that's the answer. I think there's a different explanation. Anyway, right, that's it. We've done. Can leave it there. Right. I pressed the right button this time. Right, so thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. Hang on, let me get sorted. Where is it? There we go. Where were we? Thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.